So after a ton of investigation and trial and error here in the kitchen, talking to experts, talking to a polymer scientist, I've come to the conclusion that using a mixture of beeswax and unsaturated seed oils is the very best material to use for pre and post seasoning carbon steel and cast iron. However, not everybody can get their hands on one. How do you make it yourself? Hi, I'm Jed, and this is Cook Culture. So we've been selling a wax oil combination for well over a year now, and I have done tons of different types of experiments and exploration with how does it work compared to this and that. And I've come to the very clear conclusion that it is superior for the reason that the wax really helps create a very, very thin oil and you get no pooling. So the application and knowing that you're doing it right every time is where the big win is with using wax. And we now make our own wax. We make it from local beeswax from Vancouver Island, a place called Frederick's Honey over near Nanaimo. And then we use the best quality grapeseed oil that we can get, and we use that's a non-GMO, and we use an organic non-GMO sunflower seed. And we use seed oils you can see in past videos, we've done investigation on what the best type of fat is, and we find that an unsaturated seed oil has zero or nearly zero fiber in it, and non-fibrous oils are the very best to use for seasoning. So there's lots of conversation or argument to be had about what is a good fat for cooking, eating, so on and so forth. That's never my point when it comes to seasoning. For seasoning, the point of creating a nonstick pan, we have found that using a non-fibrous seed oil works the best. So things like coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, all have fiber in them. They can be great for cooking or for eating. They are not very good for seasoning because they become carbonated. The fiber in the oil gets blackened and burnt on, and that blackened burnt on layer as you're building your seasoning will dry over time. Like if you cooked anything with fiber, like a leaf, say you put it on a hot pan, it would just dry and crumble over time, and that creates flaking, and that flaking degrades your pan. So not a great thing for pre and post seasoning. So highly recommend using a seed oil. So what I wanted to go over is how we make our oil. A lot of people ask me all the time, where do I get this? Where do I get that? They're really trying to find a good wax. And it's not available in a lot of places. It's tough to find. And there are some excellent makers out there, so if you can get them, they're super convenient. Buzzy Wax is a fantastic brand down in the US. We're making our Cook Culture wax up here, and we're really happy with the consistency of it. But every wax that I've tried so far is very similar. It's really not difficult to make a good wax, and that's what I wanted to go over today, was to share with you how to make one. Because what I hope is that if I can tell you how to make it and you want to make it yourself, it takes a process and it's time. It's more convenient to buy a tin already pre-made. But if you want to do it yourself, my goal here on this channel is for you to be more successful using your cast iron or your carbon steel or your stainless steel or your non-stick pans. If we can rid the world of coated cookware, the world will be just that much better off. So if this helps you, that I'm going to give you this recipe, that is absolutely fantastic. So there's no strings attached here. This is all about exactly how I do it and a few things that I've learned to make a really nice, proper consistency. So here we go. Okay, so first things first. Here's a finished can. This is 2 ounces of wax. It's a consistency. The color can change a little bit depending on your wax, your different oils. We're gonna use a sunflower seed oil that is a darker yellow. We're using a grapeseed oil that is quite thin and more white. That can change too depending on your oils. So don't be too concerned about the color. What we're looking to try to get is the right consistency. You don't want it too soft that every time that you use your rag, you're just scooping too much out, and you don't want it too hard that it's always hard and a cool cloth won't take any of the wax out. So you're trying to get this right balance. And I first started with a mixture of 1:1:1 beeswax to the different oils, and I found that I ended up getting too hard of wax for what I was using anyway. There's going to be variables within using your wax and your oils, so you need to experiment here. But what I've done is I went and got a beeswax candle. So just to make your life super simple, you don't have to worry about buying bulk beeswax. You can if you want, like if you find a farm that has it, great. But a lot of grocery stores will have a natural beeswax candle, and that'll work totally fine. So we're going to be able to make probably 2.5 tins using that. This guy here I measured out already. This is 1.3 ounces. And then so that's our base, how much wax we have. We've got lots of oil, so we're going to have a finite amount. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually do a 1 to 1.5 to a 1.5. And we're going to see how that goes. That's a little bit wetter than I usually do. I've been slowly reducing the amount of wax that I have just to try to get the mixture. Today I'm going to experiment here on camera, and I'm going to go to fairly thin. So I'm going to do the 1.3, and I'm going to times 1.3 by 1.5, that is 1.9, and I'm going to put 1.9 fluid ounces of each oil in with the 1.3. So that'll be the 1 to 1.5 to 1.5. I hope that makes sense. So as simple as grabbing this guy here, I know this is 1.3, and as I said, we're gonna do 1.9. We've got our scale, just gonna tar that out. We're at 0, so we're gonna do 1.9 ounces right there into our pot. Okay, so that was our sunflower seed, grape seed. All right, so got that there. That's gonna go in. Okay, and then basically, we're just gonna pop that in there, and we're gonna throw that on the heat and melt that up and take the wick out, of course. Okay, so oil and wax on there. We're gonna turn up to about a 6. And we're just gonna let it melt, keep an eye on it, and melt until it's all gone and we just pull the wick out. Okay, so it easily melts, and we just take the wick out. Turn off the heat, and now we're gonna put it into some molds. Okay, so we have taken our oil, melted it down. It's all very hot now, but we've got the combination of the 1.3 ounces of beeswax from the candle, 1.9 ounces of each oil. So I've taken some simple ramekins because I was just thinking of most people have at home. A lot of people have a ramekin. You can put it in whatever you want. Filled tin of shoe polish, that'll work really well. But basically what we do now is just pour it into the molds. And like I could theoretically put it all into one. I thought that I would make smaller ones and then put some away. They get kind of gunky and messy when you're seasoning, and sometimes seasoning the bottom, so they get kind of yucky just using them. And when a tin is done, it's kind of, all the oil is blackened and kind of yucky. So it's, I find it nice to have only X amount to work with at a time. I have been thinking about making 4-ounce tins because some people go through it quite quickly, and it'd be more economical if I made a 4-ounce tin, so I may be doing that. But basically that's it. You just pour it in the molds, and now it's just gonna sit and it's gonna harden. So I will leave this for 3 or 4 hours to become fully hard. You could possibly put it into the fridge if you're impatient. I don't know if that would change it, if it may crack or whichever, but I doubt it would do anything bad, so you could try that. So we're just gonna let this harden, and then we'll test our wax. Okay, so we've left those guys to harden up, and they look awesome. So that's how it's supposed to be. And I've been really happy with using the mixture. So doing the 1.5, the 1 to 1.5 works excellent. So really happy. So next thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna try it. Okay, so I've got the pan on to preheat for about a 7. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, I think, to 6. It's being a little bit impatient. I usually preheat around a 6. Nice fresh cloth, been used before, but fresh cotton cloth I'm using. And I'm just gonna take the wax, rub it around just like shoe polish, and in it goes. So we got a little bit of smoke coming off there. Don't need to have smoke for it to be working. It's got a little bit. And just rub that around. That works beautifully. It smells awesome. And just get that all around. Maybe even bang the back, just for the sake of it. So it's got a nice sheen all over it. And now we're just gonna let that cook for 4 or 5 minutes and then shut that down. Okay, so there we go. Looking absolutely fantastic. The beeswax oil combination is great. I really like the 1 to 1.5 mixture. Works excellent. So wherever you are in the world, you can't get your hands on a tin of beeswax, specifically the Cook Culture beeswax. But beeswax, you can actually get it in Europe, in the States. Fuzzy Wax is the brand we recommend down in the States. Cook Culture up here in Canada. But if you just can't get your hands on it, or you just want to make it yourself, go for it. It's super simple. It's a ton of fun. And if that helps you get over seasoning your cast iron and carbon steel, or you have a friend who you're going to be buying one for or convincing to buy one, and you make some of your own, pretty awesome Christmas gift. So hopefully that helps. And please, any questions, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much.